This broadcast is brought to you by iDemon Studios and Real Deal Books. Real Deal Books are available on Amazon.com. iDemon Studios is located in the hills of north central West Virginia. And McClung Originals, MCO. Making art that matters for over 50 years. I want to play you a clip from NPR News about an interesting situation that is quite disturbing. So hold on. Let me play that for you. All right, listen to this.
And Utah lawmakers have voted to require every cell phone and tablet sold in the state to automatically block pornography. Governor Spencer Cox has not said whether he'll sign the bill. If so, the measure would not take effect until at least 5 other states enact similar laws. Critics call the Utah measure an intrusion of free speech. Supporters insist that it's a way to help parents keep explicit content away from kids who increasingly have their own devices.
You hear that? A state government is directly violating the First Amendment of the United States Constitution. A direct violation of the Constitution. Now let's hope that the governor of Utah is smart enough not to sign that bill into law. Because if he does, he has committed treason. And you know what I think about people that violate the Constitution? I mean governments, state, local, federal, Congress, presidents, senators, state legislatures, governors, city police departments, you know, like the police department of Shinston, West Virginia. I've spoken about that in previous episodes. I'll speak about it again. At any rate, direct constitutional violation if this becomes law. And if it does, those responsible for the law should be held criminally accountable. I mean, sometimes human beings just boggle my mind. It's unfucking believable what these monkey brains keep coming up with. It's just beyond my comprehension how anybody could be that fucking stupid, that idiotic, that moronic, that just absolutely boggles the mind. So let's hope the governor of Utah is smart enough not to sign it. If he does, then the people of Utah should rebel. I don't even think rebel is the right word. I think they should just raise up and, say to him, the governor, no the fuck not. You're not doing it. It's not going to happen. So unsign it, motherfucker. I won't get into any kind of particulars on what people could do. I just think if you allow that to happen and if you allow it to continue to happen after, if he signs it and you do nothing, then you're just as disgusting as he is. And the legislature for passing it in the first place. Just unbelievable. Blatant, treasonous criminality. And by the way, the excuses that some people have for supporting this kind of illegal law, this violation of free speech, etc., is it just those people are how would I put it? Well, they said it's to protect the children. Excuse me, but that's not the government's responsibility. And protect them from what? Pornography? Excuse me? In the first place, I know what the word pornography means, and it doesn't mean what you think it means. All right. For one thing, pornography is something that is produced by a person with the intention of the person creating it to sexually arouse the viewer, the reader, the listener, to sexually arouse it. See, just because you look at something and you get turned on by it, that doesn't make it pornography. I mean, if you get a hard on looking at a tree, that's not pornography. If you look at a picture of, okay, here, how about this one? You see a picture of me and with me, just a portrait or me sitting somewhere like in my office or my studio, with my clothes on and, none of my sexual parts showing, and you get a hard on from that, and thanks for the compliment, but that's not pornography. Because I didn't, if I made a picture, let's say I have a picture of myself nude, and you just happen to see it, and you get a hard on. See, I've said that you get a hard on like 3 times now. If it turns you on to look at a picture of me naked, right? Okay, I would be complimented by that. I would think, yeah, I got it. I still got it, and or I do have it, and maybe I've never had it before. Anyway, if it turns you on, then that's not me producing pornography. That's just me in a picture, which is not me, of course, because photographs, images are not people. Like people are not flat. Pictures of a tree are not a tree. Got it? Pictures of a tree is not a tree. It's a picture of. It's a picture of a tree. It's not a tree. This is just true, by the way. This is not debatable. You're not going to argue with me on this, even if you could argue me, because this is a monologue, and you don't get to talk. But it's a picture of a tree. Of a tree. Just like a picture of me, naked, nude. Naked is without feathers, fur, scales, a shell. That's just, if you, that's not the same as being nude, which means no clothes. Naked is, without fur, feathers. Humans are naked creatures. Not wearing any clothes, totally different concept, is nude. Now, if you see a picture of me nude, somewhere, somehow, some way, I don't know how you get it. I haven't sent out any pictures of me nude lately, although there are pictures of me nude on my website in my art gallery. Nothing to be ashamed of there, babe. So, by the way, it's not pornography. So if you happen to see it on the internet, and yeah, there's dick pictures of mine, of me, of my dick on the internet. Yep. No regrets. It's been there for a long time, and it's probably going to be there forever because, it is. And it is what it is. And, it's just a picture of me. Of my, my Johnson. It's not me. It's an image. It's an illusion. Photographs are illusions. They're like magic. You take an image, which is color and shapes and pixels, as if it's on a screen monitor. It's just pixels, colored pixels. Your eye magically translates those pictures, those images, those pixels, those colors, translates what the eye is observing into the brain. Bam! And the brain sees something, whatever it may be, whatever the images of. Photograph is not a person. It is of a person, maybe, but it's not a person, because that's not the way physics or science, it just doesn't work that way. It's not possible. It's not Harry Potter. In Harry Potter movies, the pictures on the wall were actually living, breathing human beings somehow or another. I don't know. Magic, fairy tale, fantasy, whatever. So, the thing is, it's not a picture. It's not pornography, because I didn't take a picture of myself, of me, and post it on the internet, and specifically in this case on my website in my art gallery of nudes, which, by the way, my website is clearly labeled, this and this and this, and bam, nudes. There are paintings, drawings, and photographs, and digital renderings of nudes, or nude people. Of, meaning not them, but of them. Look up the word of in the dictionary. Pretty sure it says something like, let's just paraphrase here maybe, and say it means related to. Not the thing, but related to the thing. And therefore, not me. It's an image. It's a magic. It's illusion. Your brain your eye sees the image and magically translates that into your brain as something that reminds you of me. And if you don't know me, you don't know that's a picture of me, then you would say, well, that's a man, a male human being, because he's got male parts. And you may or may not be attracted to it. You may or may not be turned on. You may or may not find it attractive at all. You might find it gross, but you certainly cannot find it to be pornographic. If you do think it's pornographic, that's in your mind, not in mine, because that's not the reason I posted the picture. I posted the picture as one, a portrait of me. It means it represents me. It's an image that represents me, not me, because I'm not flat. And I posted it as an appreciation of the human form, as a self-appreciation of my human form. Now, I'm not going to get into the exhibitionism type stuff, but sometimes people exhibit themselves, their bodies, with their clothes on, for personal reasons. Like, I just like to be naked, they say, and I just like to, guys to see me naked. If you're a girl, well, actually, some guys like to, present themselves naked to guys because they're gay, and they would like to be, appreciated by another gay fella, or lesbian, same thing, whatever. So, perfectly all right, because the human body is not a crime. Yeah, not a fucking crime. And anyone who thinks it is idiot. A total fucking idiot. I'm sorry, I hate to be cruel and blunt, but yeah, I don't hate to do it because it's true. And I enjoy actually saying things like, yeah, it's true. It's not a problem. It's not a crime. Not. Zero, zilch, never was, never will be. I don't care how many laws you make. It's not a crime. It's like saying, air is a crime. It's ridiculous. And you know it's ridiculous. And there's no arguments, so don't even start thinking up little things to argue about here. Just listen to what I'm saying. Absorb what I'm saying. I'm saying you don't have to agree with me. You don't have to believe me. That's on you. If you don't believe me, then your problem. And I would think it would be a problem, seeing as how you're like, I'm totally in denial of reality here. But, hey, that's you. Just don't throw it back in my face and say, oh, you're wrong, because you're wrong. No. No, you're not going to do that. Because, no, you're not. Period. It's not going to happen. So, I present the picture as a work of art. And I present it as a portrait, in this case, a full-length frontal nude portrait of me in all of my glory, for those who appreciate nude art or art that depicts nude people. That's not me. It's not like I'm standing there in front of the camera and I'm alive. It's like a photograph. It's a still shot, and it's like doesn't move, and the picture doesn't breathe because it's not a person. It's just an image of me. And I'm not a what would the word be? Exhibitionist. Now, some people think that that's a bad thing. Oh, you're an exhibitionist. And I'm thinking, so? Is there a problem with that? I don't think so. Yeah, I just like to exhibit my body for your appreciation or not. If you don't appreciate it, look away. As far as my website is concerned, yes, there is a section, an art gallery section of nudes, where I have either presented photographs or digitally rendered images, which is not the same as a photograph. I can produce a digital image. What do they call that in the movies? Graphic. Got a blank here. Senior moment. GI, GR, GEG. Digitally produced images. You've seen them in movies. They use it a lot these days to produce things that are not really there. Like the actor is like talking to a monster that's, totally GF, something or other. I can't remember. Sorry. You know what I'm talking about. Digitally produced image into the film, and the guy, the actor, the real one, standing there in front of the camera, talking to this image, which is not there at the time, but is later put into the film by the technical crews that do that sort of thing. So what I'm saying here is, I can produce an image of a nude of, again, the word is of, or representing a nude person. It looks like a nude person. It's really a bunch of pixels, colored pixels arranged in a certain way. I can do that on my computer and create an image or a photograph or a digital rendering of a person, like a portrait, and that person as a person in the real world doesn't exist. I just made it up because I'm creative, like a god. I create things from nothing. Actually, I take pixels and use the tools to put it together, but it's not really from nothing, is it? But the image itself, when it's finished, is actually pretty much created on nothing. That is not a photograph of anyone, not in real life, not a real person, just like, It's just totally out of my head. Made it up like a fairy tale, and then turned it into the illusion that you look at and see, wow, that's a picture of a face. Again, of a face, and you would be right, because it does. If I've done my job correctly and properly, then you're going to look at it and say, that's a face of a person, of a woman, for example, or myself. And that's not pornography, because I didn't present it for that reason. I presented it as a work of art, as a portrait study of myself. I have photographs of other people, and say women, and same thing. Some are, the models were real, and in some it was just digitally rendered. There's no model involved, which is, by the way, amazing, seeing as how I tried to publish a book on Amazon of photographs of women, or a woman. I had a collection of photographs that I digitally produced. And one of them was just nipple pictures or nipple images. And Amazon asked me to provide a driver's license photo ID for these nipples. I guess I realize it's possible that the people that work for Amazon are not that bright, because just if they just thought about what they said for just a second, they would realize what an idiotic thing to say. You need to provide driver's licenses for those nipples. Those nipples need a driver's license with a photo ID. And, face slap. Paul, I don't get it. I mean, how could they not realize what they just said to me? Well, this has been a little while ago. Last year, I think it was. And, oh, yeah, I can provide a photo. Well, I guess I could. I could just produce a digitally created driver's license for a freaking nipple. And, yeah, because you can do that with a computer. But I'm afraid I'm not going to give it a name. It was a photograph of a nipple. And some were digitally rendered pictures or images of a nipple. They weren't even photographs of a real nipple. I created them out of nothing with some pixels. So I could create this photo ID and, what's the name of this nipple? All right. Left nipple. Mr. or Mrs., because there were some male nipples in the book. Miss left nipple. Address, I guess that is 2222 Internet Lane. I mean, come on. Get serious. There's just no, it can't be done. It would be foolish. It's stupid to even ask for it, because nipples don't have driver's licenses or any other kind of photo ID. I mean, come on. Freaking idiotic. So, let's see. Are we clear on that? I didn't produce pornography. I produced a photographic portrait of myself, or a digitally rendered portrait of me, or a study, as I call it. Us artists use words like study. Why do you do that there? Well, I did a study on myself, and I took like 4,000 pictures of myself, and put it in the book, or or did a painting, or did a drawing, or sculpture with like a statue of myself naked. Haven't done that yet. Anyway, that's just you get what I'm saying. It's not pornography. Human body. I mean, if the human body was pornographic, then every human being on the planet would be, I don't want to say guilty, would be a pornographic image, with or without their clothes on, just walking down the street. Pornography. Yeah, well, let me tell you a secret. If there's a pretty girl walking down the street and any man sees her, if he's not blind, he's turned on. I mean, assuming she's not as ugly as a cow. And even if she was, he'd still be thinking, that reminds me, women have pussies. Anyhow, that's not on the person walking down the street. That's not on her. That's on the guy. He invented this pornographic concept in his head. He invented it out of his own brain cells. Because not everybody on the planet is pornography. Not everybody on the planet who poses for a photograph with or without clothes on is a porn star. That would be strategically impossible. Everybody's a porn star. Seriously. Every woman or girl even walking around, in a bikini on the beach or by the swimming pool, pornography, just in the flesh, like real live walking around pornography. I'm not talking about a photograph or a video. I'm talking about, you're at the swimming pool, at the beach, or on the beach, and there's some people, and some of the people are like females. In this case, I'm thinking, all right, and they're walking around and they got their bathing suits and their bikinis and their micro bikinis, and you can see everything. I mean, it's not like there's anything hidden. There's boobs, there's a butt crack, I can see it. All right, the butt cheeks are hanging out. It's obvious. They're females. All right. So I'm looking at them and saying, "You're pornography." And how long you think I'm going to be allowed to stay at that hotel? You're creepy. Get out of here. And so it's just ridiculous. Pornography is something created intentionally by somebody to appeal to the prurient interests of the viewer, listener, or reader. Oh, by the way, I write porn. Write it in words. Sometimes in verse, rhymes, poetry. Got two epic poems, two epic sexually explicit, sexually explicit epic poem. Fiction fantasy, epic poems. Not real, didn't happen. But two of those. We'll probably have some more eventually. All right, working on some. Anyhow, not pornography. Well, if you read it and you get turned on by it, there's something wrong with you because of the subject matter of the story. At any rate, might be considered porn. Maybe. Because if you read it and you say, that turned me on, yeah, I intended to. That's why I wrote it. To turn you on, buddy. Is that wrong? Nope. Why should it be wrong? Everybody, men and women naturally get turned on by something, particularly if it's, they're normal. They're like, a guy is like, girl, horny. Perfectly natural. And if it wasn't natural, I mean, if men didn't get turned on by women when he looked at them in the flesh, like walking around and, being in the same place as he is, like maybe in a bar or, in church, I'd throw that in there, or anywhere, a restaurant, movie theater, whatever, strip club. If men didn't get turned on by women, there wouldn't be any men. Because nobody would ever have sex and nobody would ever reproduce. And I dare say there wouldn't be any marriages, there wouldn't be any families, because that's why they do that. That's how it works. That's nature. People were designed to be turned on by the opposite sex. That is not bad. That is not a crime. That is not wrong. And that is not pornography. That's nature doing what nature does in order to perpetuate the human species. If men didn't get turned on by women, they wouldn't have sex with them. They wouldn't reproduce. The women wouldn't have babies. End of humanity. So some idiot comes along, let's make it a crime to, do something. Let's make it a crime. To what? Pornography is a crime? Really? Let's do that. No. Why? Why is this bad and it causes problems? And no, really. People cause problems. Pornography doesn't cause shit. Pornography is just there. Like if you don't read my pornographic poem, then it doesn't do shit. It's just there on the bookshelf. You don't read it, you don't even know what it says. So it doesn't do anything for you. You have to read it first. Or if you're talking about photographs, I have a collection of pornographic photographs, which I actually made for the purposes of turning people on. Look at this. It'll turn you on because they're sexy. And, if you're not turned on by it, then you're just not normal. So you understand what I'm saying? Pornography can't be a crime. It is perfectly natural. It is everywhere. It is in reality. So if it's not pornography, it's just nature. And if it is pornography, still just nature. Natural thing to do. Pornography's been around since human beings became human beings. Seriously. Cave walls. The archaeologists found it. There it is. People having sex on the freaking Egyptian Sanskrit carvings on the walls. It's always been, always will be. Nothing wrong with it. Making it illegal is insane. All right? So, all right. Let me think about this for a second, see if I can think of anything to add to that. All right, I think I've covered it. I think I've made the point. These laws that are trying to make some outlaw pornography, they're wrong. It's illegal in America. It should be illegal anywhere in the world. Nothing wrong with pornography. Pornography serves a purpose. It's perfectly normal, perfectly natural. Now, I admit there may be people who don't watch porn or read porn. They just maybe don't need to. Maybe they don't want to for some reason. Maybe they're inhibited. Maybe they're not sexual. In a sense that maybe they're just too old and don't have any desire. Maybe their hormones are depleted. Maybe they're beyond that point of being interested in sexuality. I can't imagine it. I can't imagine any man being at that point in his life, after he's 10 or 12 years old, not being interested in beautiful women. It's possible. Just as it's possible that there are heterosexual men and women, there are also homosexual men and women. It's a reality. By the way, if you think homosexuality is a sin, you're an idiot. And, the Pope said the other day, Catholic Church cannot bless same gender, by the way, gender, not sex, same gender marriages. And God cannot bless, or would not bless, a sin. All right? Well, that's a good reason to abolish the Catholic Church, the Pope, and the Vatican, and all that nonsense. Because it's just lunacy. It's damaging, it's harmful, it's hurtful, it's just illogical and irrational. In short, it's just fucking insane. So, Pope can kiss my ass. In the first place, sin is just a word that they made up and a concept that was made up by these religious fanatical nitwits, basically to control human beings and human behavior, and turn people against nature. Like, you can't have sex, it's a sin. When the fact is, if you don't have sex, no humans, as I said before. So, the Pope can just, he's laughable. The whole concept of the Pope and his freaking whatever the hell he says is just laughable. And people who believe that stuff are laughable. They're not intelligent. They're not rational human beings. And they're a contradiction to the very nature of humans, because humans are sexual creatures. They've always been sexual. That's their nature. That's what they are. That's their reason for existing. Oh, yeah, that's exactly true. Human beings exist to have sex, reproduce, to keep the species going, to keep the species alive and moving forward. No sex, no babies, no human beings. And that's the number one reason why we exist. All of these other reasons that people come up with, we exist to, invent new kinds of cell phones or make art even, for that matter. I'm not delusional. I make art because I want to, because I'm talented and I'm very capable. And I get joy from making art of all kinds. Visual, audio, verbal, sculpture, paintings, drawings, writings, poems, songs, music, whatever it may be. I am very talented. And I bet you the Pope didn't think about that. God can't bless you because, you're normal. And we can't bless normal people. I'm not normal. Not just some guy. But physiologically and in reality of the real world, the reality, yep, normal. I'm a guy. I like women. Well, let's just say females. I'm not gay. I don't dislike guys, but I don't want to have sex with them. It's just not the way I'm designed. And if everybody turned into gay people, and if every man was a gay and every woman became a lesbian, then, chances are, like I said, the human race would die out. End of humanity. So it's, that's not much of a chance of that. How many people are actually gay? How many? All right, 2-3%. That's a lot, in my opinion, but not that much compared to the world. And 8 billion people, 3% of them. That's a lot if you look at it that way. But if you're got in a neighborhood or in a little town, maybe 500 people or 1,000 people, and 3% of them are gay, you may know some of them. If you live in New York, you might know some of them. But if you're looking at the whole world, you don't know any of them. Like a handful, maybe. The point is, another natural thing. All right, I'm gonna wrap it up. I think you get my point. If there's a comment section under this, if you're listening to it on YouTube, there's a comment section. You feel free to make a comment. It's your chance to break the mold of the monologue format, and you can make a comment. If you want to argue or if you want to attack me, or commit libel or slander or anything like that, or defamation or anything of that nature, I would suggest you don't do it, because I will delete it and I will block you, because I don't have time in my life for idiots, and I don't have time to argue with idiots. So if you want to make a comment, ask a question. If you want to contribute to what I said in a positive way, good for you. Go for it. Make a comment in the comment section. If you listen to this on any other place, my website, for example, or Spotify, you can't make a comment. But you could probably go on YouTube, if you haven't screwed it up and got blocked from YouTube. It's on Facebook. You can listen to it on Facebook. You can make a comment on there too. I put a notification on Facebook when I'm not blocked from Facebook, which is at the moment I'm not, but hard to tell, maybe tomorrow. So you can make a comment. You can ask a question if you're curious. If you have something you don't know and you'd like to know, then feel free to be respectful and nice and just ask. And try not to do any of that loaded question crap. Like, so you believe in blah, blah, blah. Don't start out with that. So you're saying, or by your logic, don't do that. That's just the wrong way to start out a comment or a question. Seriously, don't be stupid. At least not around me, because I just don't have time. I'm booked for 50 years. I'll never get finished doing what I've got to do. I've got a list. It's like a book long of projects I'm working on or will work on, or would like to work on, but I'm never going to get to, because, people die. I'm not living for another 50 years. Would be nice. Wouldn't mind being immortal, but, that's only true in fairy tales and, like Dracula. But, yes, feel free. Or send me an email. My email address is posted on my website and some other places. All right, so catch you later. And by the way, if you would like to share my podcast with your friends and so on, please do. Spread it around. Share it on Facebook. Share it on with your friends and neighbors at work, at school, or wherever. Spread it around. Let them have a chance to listen to what I'm saying, and perhaps they will benefit. Perhaps it will bring them some knowledge or some wisdom or some joy. And it will give them an opportunity perhaps to expand their consciousness. How many people actually, like in my last podcast, how many people actually know that state marriage is not marriage? How many? My estimation, 98% of Americans don't know that state marriage is not marriage. All right, I'll catch you next time. This is D. McClung, Artra Monologues, and live, be happy.